The underutilized arsenal, Iran's ballistic missile capabilities in focus. In a surprising revelation, U.S. intelligence has highlighted that Iran, despite facing relentless military pressure from the United States and Israel, retains a significant portion of its ballistic missile arsenal. This revelation comes amidst an ongoing conflict that has seen numerous strikes aimed at crippling Iran's military capabilities. The latest reports from CNN indicate that approximately 50% of Iran's missile launchers remain operational. This is a substantial portion considering the intensity of the strikes over the past 5 weeks. Additionally, Iran's stockpile includes thousands of one-way attack drones, which remain a formidable part of its arsenal. These revelations suggest that Iran's military might is far from depleted, posing a persistent threat to regional stability. A U.S. intelligence official speaking to CNN emphasized, the Iranian military is still very capable to wreak absolute havoc across the entire region. Thousands of Iranian drones still exist. This statement highlights the ongoing threat that Iran poses despite concentrated efforts to diminish its military capabilities. Iran, known for its strategic opacity, has responded robustly to these assessments. An unnamed Iranian intelligence official issued a stark warning, as we have stated, we declare to the American Zionist enemies that your information about our military capabilities, power, and equipment is incomplete. You know nothing of our vast and strategic capabilities. This bold pronouncement underscores Iran's confidence in its undisclosed military assets and its readiness to counter any further aggression. The official further declared, do not hope that you have destroyed our strategic missile production sites, long-range offensive drones, modern air defense and electronic warfare systems, or special equipment. Suggests that Iran's military infrastructure is more resilient than its adversaries might have anticipated. Iran's strategic military production is reportedly carried out in undisclosed locations, making it challenging for foreign intelligence to fully assess our target. The Iranian official added, our strategic military production is carried out in locations of which you possess absolutely no information, and you will never, ever be able to reach them. This statement points to the complexity and secrecy of Iran's military operations, raising questions about the effectiveness of foreign intelligence assessments. The U.S. has been vocal about its military campaign against Iran. Former President Donald Trump had previously asserted the success of U.S. operations, stating, we totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. This quote illustrates the ongoing tension, and mistrust between the two nations. Trump further elaborated on Iran's missile capabilities. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. This assertion highlights the perceived threat that Iran's missile program poses to global security. The U.S. has been conducting a comprehensive military campaign dubbed Operation Epic Fury, aimed at dismantling Iran's ability to threaten the United States or project power beyond its borders. This campaign has targeted various components of Iran's military infrastructure, including its Navy, Air Force, and missile program. Trump confidently stated, we are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. This highlights the extent of the U.S. military's efforts to neutralize Iran's military capabilities. The U.S. Central Command reported significant achievements, claiming to have struck over 12,300 targets and damaged more than 155 Iranian vessels. The impact of these operations, according to U.S. officials, has been substantial, with ballistic missile attacks against American forces reportedly down by 90%. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth noted in a press briefing, missiles being shot are down over 90% since the beginning. One-way attack drones down 90% since the beginning, which is a reflection of overwhelming firepower. This statement underscores the perceived success of the U.S. military operations in curbing Iran's offensive capabilities. However, the Iranian response suggests that the conflict is far from over. The Iranian official warned, you must pay the full price for the ion that you yourselves initiated to our honorable, cherished, and Muslim nation. This statement indicates Iran's resolve to continue its defense against what it perceives as foreign aggression. The current geopolitical landscape remains tense, with both sides maintaining their positions and preparing for potential future confrontations. While the U.S. celebrates its perceived victories, Iran's statement suggests that the conflict is not yet resolved, and its military capabilities remain a significant factor factor in the regional power dynamics. Asterisk Part 2, Strategic Implications and Global Repercussions Data. The revelation of Iran's retained missile capabilities despite sustained military efforts by the United States and Israel has profound implications for regional and global geopolitics. As the conflict continues, understanding the strategic landscape is crucial for anticipating the future developments that could reshape power dynamics across the Middle East and beyond. Asterisk Iran's strategy. Icy depth and resilience. Mean the intelligence reports emphasizing Iran's undiminished missile capabilities illustrate the complexity and resilience of its military strategy. Iran's ability to preserve a significant portion of its ballistic missile arsenal amid relentless attacks underscores its strategic depth. This resilience is not merely a matter of retaining hardware, but also reflects a sophisticated approach to military production and concealment. Iran has historically maintained a strategy of ambiguity regarding its military capabilities. The statement from the Iranian intelligence official insisting on the incompleteness of U.S. understanding of Iran's military power highlights a long-standing doctrine of strategic opacity. This doctrine serves multiple purposes. It acts as a deterrent, complicates adversarial military planning, and maintains a psychological edge by fostering uncertainty about Iran's true capabilities, regional military balance. The persistence of Iran's missile threat has significant implications for the military balance in the Middle East. Iran's missile and drone capabilities provide it with a means to project power and influence across the region, countering the conventional military superiority of its adversaries. This capability allows Iran to support its allies and proxies, extending its influence in conflict zones such as Yemen, Syria, and Iraq. Moreover, the potential for Iran to escalate conflicts through missile attacks poses a continuous challenge to regional security. The ability to target U.S. bases and allies in the region with ballistic missiles and drones remains a core component of Iran's deterrence strategy. This capability complicates the strategic calculus for the United States and its allies, who must consider the risk of escalation in any military engagement with Iran. Asterisk U.S. and Israeli military strategy. Asterisk the ongoing conflict and the revelation of Iran's retained capabilities necessitate a reassessment of U.S. and Israeli military strategies. Both countries have invested heavily in missile defense systems, such as Israel's Iron Dome and the U.S. Patriot missile systems, to counter potential Iranian attacks. However, the endurance of Iran's arsenal suggests that these defenses must continuously evolve to address emerging threats. In response to the threat posed by Iran's missile capabilities, the U.S. and Israel may intensify their focus on intelligence and surveillance to better understand and target Iran's military infrastructure. This effort might include cyber operations to disrupt Iranian military networks and production capabilities. Additionally, the U.S. strategy of targeting Iran's defense industrial base, as highlighted by U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, aims to cripple Iran's ability to replenish its missile arsenal. By focusing on the production capabilities rather than just the existing stockpiles, the U.S. seeks to impose long-term limitations on Iran's military power. Diplomatic dynamics and global reactions. The endurance of Iran's military capabilities amid ongoing conflict also affects diplomatic efforts in the region, while military pressure remains a significant component of U.S. and Israeli strategies. Diplomatic channels are crucial for de-escalating tensions and pursuing long-term solutions. The international community, including key players such as the European Union, Russia, and China, continues to monitor the situation closely. These stakeholders have vested interest in regional stability and may play a role in mediating negotiations or advocating for renewed diplomatic engagements, such as revisiting the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. At the same time, Iran's resilience and continued military capabilities serve to bolster its negotiating position. Tehran can leverage its missile program as a bargaining chip in any future diplomatic talks, reinforcing its demands for sanctions relief and recognition of its regional influence. Conclusion: navigating an uncertain future, the complex interplay between military capabilities, regional security, and diplomatic efforts defines the current geopolitical landscape in the Middle East. As the conflict involving Iran, the United States, and Israel unfolds, the ramifications extend beyond immediate military engagements to encompass broader strategic concerns. The resilience of Iran's missile arsenal signals a need for continued vigilance and adaptation by its adversaries. While military actions may temporarily degrade capabilities, long-term solutions require comprehensive strategies that integrate military, diplomatic, and economic tools. Understanding and anticipating the moves of key players in this high-stakes environment is critical for ensuring stability and preventing further escalation. In this volatile context, the international community faces the challenge of balancing pressure and diplomacy. Engaging Iran in constructive dialogue while maintaining a credible deterrent remains essential for managing the complexities of the Middle Eastern geopolitical puzzle and achieving a sustainable peace. As global attention remains fixed on this region, the outcomes of these strategic maneuvers will continue to shape the security and political dynamics not only within the Middle East, but across the global stage.